guys, I hope you're well and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as I promised, I did a video on parenting adults, and I promise you guys that you are going to have a part 2 of it on how to cope if you are that parent who is parenting an adult. Number one, if you have other kids. So let's have this number, like the first parent, this is your firstborn, and you did everything for this person and they are not working, and then you have other kids. What I'll advise you is this: don't give it all, like balance your life. You can pay school fees if you are earning maybe 50,000, or yeah, if the people if the people who are the people who are earning even less than 50,000. So whatever you are earning, just balance that money. Do some investments, also pay for the school fees and also pay bills for the house. If you are two parents, of course, two is better than one, so you can have those resources together and then you see what you can do. So number one, I'll advise you to pay yourself also. Education is the best gift that you can give to a child. It's the best inheritance that you can give to a child, because if you don't give them education, you leave them with the wealth that you have. You die today, they sell everything tomorrow. So give them education, teach them about your values, teach them about the principles. So there are things that you can teach them, and there's something that you can gift them. When Isaac, not Isaac, yeah, when Abraham, he was like kugawa mali yake. Of course, you know that Abraham got married after Sarah's death to a lady called Keturah, and Keturah, of course, gave birth to some sons. And the Bible says that Abraham gave the sons of Keturah some wealth, but he gave his Isaac blessings. So it means that he prayed over Isaac. So most of the time, it is not what we give, like the tangible things, but what we leave in our kids. So make sure that you take your kids to school, but there's no point of you paying a very expensive school and not having something for yourself. If you cannot afford Strathmore University, if you cannot afford your N, you can still take your kid to KU, you can still take your kid to JKUAT, you can still take your kid to MKU, you can still take your kid. There's so many universities and even colleges. So make sure that you don't take your child where you are straining to pay. Because if you take your child to an expensive university, it will hurt you so deep that when you see that kid there, unasikia tu pressure inapanda, hasira inapanda, you are just tempered, you are irritated, you are angry, and you want, like, you are always there moody because you are seeing that child. So make sure that whatever you are giving your child is not something that will cost you a peace in future. So if you can afford this university next to your door, better. If you can afford the big university and the huge university with a lot of huge school fees, it's okay. If you can source for maybe help and all that, it's fine. But make sure that as you pay school fees for these children, leave something for yourself. Because whatever you are leaving for yourself is what will help you. So that when they don't get a job, you will not be like cursing them inside your heart. You will not be like feeling like hawa niliwalipia school fees na wanakuja tu hapa kwangu kukula, wanakaa hapa kwangu. So if you leave something for yourself, that is what you'll be using. Because truth be said, some of us where we are working, the job is not permanent. And one day maybe you lose your job, or something will happen, or even you'll retire. So before you retire, put something aside for your retirement so that you'll be a happy parent, you'll be a happy grandma, you'll be a happy grandfather, you'll be a happy person that even sometimes you just tell your children, just put my grandchildren kwa gari wakuje wanisalimie. And you don't care whether they have given them shopping or anything that is going to maybe sustain you guys, because you kept something for yourself. And whatever you kept for yourself, make sure you are keeping it in a place where it earns a lot of interest or some interest. So a lot of interest, I mean, of course, places like banks, they don't give us good interest. So there are places that you can put your money, the small money that you get, that will always compound. And by the time you are retiring, you have something in your basket. So this will help you as a parent, that you'll have something to sustain you. And then as you take your kids to school, you'll not take them with that mentality of I'm taking them so that wakimaliza shule na mimi wanisaidie. I know our parents they did that, or our grandparents they did that, and you find that even our parents they were really struggling because of black tax. Because your parent will be like, I took you to school, it is your payback time. And then you find you focus on your parent, you don't focus on yourself. And then your parents maybe dies, and then you start focusing on your kids again. I took you to school, it is your payback time. So there's that circle of poverty that is being passed on to another generation. So make sure that you take your kids to school that you can afford. I always tell parents, you love your children, but if you're not mentally okay, you cannot be a good mother. If you're not mentally okay, you cannot be a good father. One day, I was somewhere and this guy walks in. So I was just making my hair, and this guy walks in and he was coming for kinyozi. So this guy was like, ninyoe haraka haraka nataka kwenda kukunywa. So this lady of course asked him, why do you take alcohol? And this guy was like, I take alcohol because I'm stressed. And the lady was like, why are you stressed? And he said, the reason why I've come here so that we know before I proceed to go take alcohol is because when I take alcohol, I cannot even pass here. So this guy said, I'm taking alcohol because I have stress. Anytime I earn, all the money goes to school fees for my children. I barely even have the transport to go to work. And he was even saying that this school where the daughter is in, and they increased the school fees with, I don't know, 10,000. And he was saying, when I went to that school and they were telling me there's some increment in school fees, I was literally mad because where am I going to get that money? And of course, the mom, they don't stay with the mom stays in the village. So it is the dad who literally does everything. And I loved him, even if he is a drunkard, but he said, you know me, I give my kids everything that they want. Even sometimes I only have 200 shillings, and then they're like, Daddy, we need Pampers. Okay, for him, he was calling always Pampers. So, and then I'll tell my daughter, okay, chukua tu pesa hapo uende ununue. So now it was like, no, not Pampers, like these things that you ladies use. Yes, so that's what he was saying. And now, yes, he's providing, he's making sure that everything runs in the home, but this guy is not okay. What if one day he goes to drink and he dies? Now the alcohol has become like this guy right now, bado hajafika ile place like ako addicted. But addiction will come. And I had some conversation with him and he was like, yeah, it's making sense to me. And I was like, just live below your means. If you can afford a bed sitter, okay, that's what you can afford for now, but aim higher. If you can afford that school next to your doorstep, that's what you can afford now, but aim higher. But don't be in a state where you go take alcohol because you are stressed, not because you are stressed that someone is sick, or you are stressed because of heartbreak, but your heartbreak high, but you are stressed because you are paying school fees to your kids. You are stressed because you are taking your responsibility. And that is why nowadays even there are people who they leave their partners. Mtu anaamka asubuhi anapaka anasonga. Because amechoka na kulipa your school fees. Hata ameona majukumu is too much. But somehow you wonder, these are the same people who have mpango wa candles, the side chick and the side hens. And they're still providing. So, yeah. So make sure that you have something for yourself as a parent. Don't rely on your child. Because this child, they will have their own family. They will have their own responsibilities. One day they'll get married and have a family. You cannot tell them, my son, send me this money. They'll be like, Mom, I'm paying fees for my children. Mom, I have bills to pay. Dad, me, I have these bills to pay. So make sure that you don't take your kids to school as kitenga uchumi. Kitenga uchumi, yes. So make sure that you have something for yourself. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So make sure that you put your eggs in different baskets. Take your kids to school. Again, if they help you, well and good. If they don't help you, don't curse them because you have something of your own. And then pray for your children. And again, what we discussed in part 1 of this video, make sure that your child has a skill outside the degree or the master's or the diploma that they have, because they can reuse that skill even to generate a source of income for themselves. because when they are able to take care of themselves, they're not supporting you, but they can have their own house, do their own stuff, save their own money. Again, it is a plus. It is something that is good because they have relieved you from other expenses. And again, the things that parents do, you find that you give birth because you plan and you think that your kids, the older one, will take care of the younger ones. So you are like, acha mimi nizae tu huyu kabla huyu aanze shule, mkubwa atakamaliza shule. And then mkubwa anamaliza hiyo shule na hana job. Ama hata anapata ball, amaliza shule ako na job lakini ako na mtoto wake. So they cannot take care of their siblings. So don't give birth like with that idea behind your head that mkubwa atafunza huyu mdogo. Just give birth to kids that you can raise. Give birth to kids that you can take care of. If you can take care of 2, give birth to the 2 kids. If you can take care of 5, give birth to the 5 kids. Because one lady told me, Yamo, Yamo, by the way, kids don't come with receipts. So you cannot return them back like goods that you buy in a supermarket or in other places. So these kids, they don't come with receipts. Nobody should lie to me that, you can give birth to nakujanga na saini yake. Jokes on them. So kids don't come with receipts. So make sure that you plan yourself and you put something aside for yourself. Invest. There are different investments that you can do. If you are a risk averse, you can even start with money market fund. Put your money there every month, 5,000, every month 5,000, or every month 10,000, depending with your capacity. Do a side hustle here and there, save, so that rainy day, when it comes, you have something in your basket that can sustain you. And with that, you'll always see your kids as blessings, whether they have or they don't have. You'll always see your grandchildren and feel fulfilled, whether their parents are able to give you money or not. And with that, you'll treat your kids equally. Hakutakuwa na the favorite because they give you money. Hakutakuwa na ule mbaya because they don't give you money. You'll treat your kids equally because at the end of the day, you don't depend on them to eat, to wear good clothes, and to survive. So if they give it as a blessing and you say thank you. If they don't give you, you still love them and they're still bado ni watoto wako. So make sure that you have something for yourself and for your spouse. Mkizeeka mkule hiyo yenu ya uzee. Kazi ikiisha, at least you have done something for yourself. You can even buy a piece of land, build some rentals if you are able. This is something that will be there for the longest time. So when the tenant pays something, you and your husband, the two of you can eat. When they pay something, you can even educate your grandchildren. You can even support your kids as they stabilize in life. You can even be able to sustain your life and even sustain others. It will not even be a bother. If you have a car, you can be able to fuel your car and run around with your babe and enjoy life. So thank you so much for watching, and I always pray that God will help us, that our kids will always be a blessing to us and not a burden, that our kids will always be a source of joy and not a source of sorrow, that our kids, when we see them, will just feel good, not feeling pressure in a panda or pressure in a sugar. So for now, until next time, bye bye.